Hello, and welcome to the Tenfold AI podcast. I'm Heather. This is Matt. As always, we're sponsored by ProMode.ai, and we are the most listened to AI podcast in Micronesia and Abu Ghraib. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
You know,
Curveball.
I mean, that's enhanced interrogation if I've ever seen it. Just playing the Tenfold AI podcast
Yeah.
24/7 in Abu Ghraib.
No, I do imagine that we're like a huge hit in some really underground society, like maybe like the few Amish people who have phones. Like they really dig our podcast.
They're like, man, these guys have really nuanced opinions on AI.
Yeah. Do you ever wonder if like in 500 or 1,000 years, just imagine technology's wiped off, the society has to start over for some reason, some cataclysmic event. And then in 1,000 years, somebody finds like the last hard drive with some videos that they're able to play, and it's some random podcast, like some just goofy comedian podcast like we love to listen to. And then they just build this whole story about our society based on that one thing. Because that's kind of what we do. Like we look back at, oh, this is the Rosetta Stone, but that could have been just like somebody's shopping list. I don't know.
That is so true. Like, yeah, I've heard, I love listening to archaeologists, just that type of stuff really fascinates me. And you'll hear some of them where they're like, these idiots thought that this was some type of like clay vessel that they worshiped or something. And then you have somebody who like studied the sociology of that culture and they're like, that was a sex toy, Jim. Like this is odd,
Right.
like it's well documented. Look at this papyrus script. These are the
Yeah.
plans for this sex toy. Like what this isn't some like
Right.
holy relic.
Yeah, like that's what they picked the cat poop up with. That was not a sacred. That's not the Holy Grail. That's a pooper scooper from ancient Egypt. No, I love Ancient Aliens. I'm big on that. It's on Netflix, and more so because I so enjoy the kinds of dudes who are into that because they're all just goofy with like crazy hair, and you can tell they just don't have a whole lot else going on in their lives but to be just obsessed with, some shred of evidence that aliens existed 5,000 years ago.
Yeah,
And I just enjoy those dudes. They're
that
harmless
is
and they're doing their thing.
that is the the realm of being a human male, I think. It's like just, oh wow. You're 50 years into this, huh? Like deep,
Right.
deep into it, just ceaseless energy towards something
Yeah.
crazy like that.
Do you ever stumble into somebody's passion in a conversation? Like you're loosely mentioning something, and then you can tell you've hit a nerve. Like that's the thing that they want to talk about all day long. And then they just go off, and you're like, oh God, I should have not mentioned Pokemon or I don't know, like just some obscure thing.
Dude,
I do that a lot.
your husband and I I have spent
He stumbled into one of your triggers, I bet.
oh, no, no,
Or
no,
no,
both. We stumble into each
co-triggered.
other's triggers a lot. There was one time, this is right after he set up his, like, garage shop corner, There was a time we were there, and I think that we were hosting, like, a promote event. There was, like, definitely people inside that I should have been talking to. Him and I stood over his lathe for, like, 25 minutes, and I was like, show me what everything does. How do you do this? What happens if this?
God.
And he just sat there and took it apart. I was like, keep going, Rob. I want to know everything about your lathe and how do you, and I was like, what does it feel like in your hands when this tool is doing this thing? He's telling me all about it. He's showing me some pens that he made. And I'm like, oh yeah, this scratches an itch for me. I love it.
My gosh. Well, I'm sure he loved it equally, if not more, because, he lives with a bunch of females, me and the girls, and none of us have asked him any of those questions. So I'm sure he appreciated the interest. But yeah, you love processes of excellence, you know?
Yeah,
And that's a very physical, like three-dimensional form of it, which probably is a nice break for you compared to the 2D screen time that you get in.
totally, totally. It's like because both those things scratch the same itch for me, and I love. But I'm also like really physical. I do like prefer physical things. So to see like precision and process, but also something that's tactile. Oh, you have to like feel it as you're doing it. It's
Yeah.
something so satisfying.
Do you think that this is a very Star Trekky question. Do you think that that will kind of manifest in developer world? Like you can have like haptic signal gloves and VR goggles and be developing in a three-dimensional space?
Mm.
I mean, I could see you like never leaving a room for that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's really interesting you say that actually. Wow, I never like I think you might be onto something. Because I know that like I much prefer doing like spatial design and workflows. I'm not super linear in how I do it. So like if I use, I mean, even doing like using AI to code, there's something about I like having the file system visual. And so like I'll see, okay, this function's getting passed to this folder. I have a hard time just I can't chew through text and think about what's going on. I have to it's gotta be laid out, you know? And so I could see that being a key development of the ability to do that. I mean, if AI is writing all of the code and the human is just the one determining what's important, what goes where, what has priority over this, absolutely, I would say that something immersive and haptic would be a big leap forward in
Yeah.
that. That's really insightful. Yeah,
Well,
that's one of those thoughts where I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
I watch a lot of weird, we watch some of the same like futuristic sci-fi type things. And yeah, I just imagine like, a developer instead of typing and entering code, just maybe it's like shapes that you're grabbing and just like building things. And it doesn't have to be numbers and letters. Those are the limitations of our inputs, right? Like,
Yes.
what if, and then, like all the autistic people are going to be the best developers in the world. They've
Seriously.
got like crazy spatial accuracy and things. I don't know. That'd be cool. Video games for sure. Like developing a video game in a 3D immersive experience. Because you can play the video game 3D, but like what if it was built from that same thing and then everyone could build their own video games in 3D? That was
This
kind of
is
cool.
it. This is it. I mean,
Look
yeah,
at
I mean,
that.
I've never played Roblox, but, like, our nephews are into it. So you can definitely see there's a whole generation that is coming up where the idea of being in a world that's being rendered in real time, but then you're building inside of it. You know, and
Which is
Roblox
probably
is
what we're doing right now in the simulation that we're
for sure, no doubt. We were gonna go down this road.
That's an exit off the highway, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about dorks spending 50 years looking for aliens. Like, there is a dork community investigating the simulation. I was a card-carrying member for more years than I would like to admit.
I know. My favorite quote about the simulation is Elon Musk when he said, "It is highly unlikely that we are not living in a simulation." And I'm like, go home. Go touch some grass, dude. What are you talking about? Like, I agree, but that's just, I don't know, quite a statement.
There was a period of time from, like, probably 2015 to 2018 If you were at a social gathering with me and I had had like more than 5 ounces of red wine, I was going to corner your ass on the simulation and start just
Yeah.
like a dog on a bone.
And I would have enjoyed that conversation, guaranteed.
All
Absolutely.
right.
But I'm gonna set you up here.
Yeah.
We talk about, building video games in a three-dimensional space or developing software in a three-dimensional space. But, there's a lot of people still trying to figure out how to create a simple video with AI.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
So I want to, you and I are both kind of pretty particular people. So we've got a demo this afternoon. And I was going over like, hey, here are the beats that I'm going to hit. And I'd written out several paragraphs. And before we start recording this podcast, I mean, we went through line by line and I was like, oh, great. We cut out like 60% of just the words that I had put on that thing. You and I are both like the type of people like we do that because we know that that type of stuff is important, right? Like brevity, clarity, like honing in on it. So there is a challenge that comes with people who have that personality. I mean, a lot of marketers have that personality. Like a thing has to look right. There's got to be symmetry to things. There's got to be appropriate use of white space, and this is the like there's a formula for what we find to be visually appealing, and then everybody has their taste that they overlay on that. But there's certain principles that apply. And the more refined your taste is, the more of an opinion you have about what comes out on the other side. So before you start a project, you've already started to visualize it needs to look this way, right? Now, the weird thing about generative AI is that it does the thing, which is really impressive. But for people who are particular and have that vision ahead of time, I think they find themselves sort of confused. Like maybe there's an app they haven't heard of yet, or you know what I mean? I must be missing out because yes, this is cool that this thing makes an 8-second video, but like, what if I want to make a video that looks exactly this way? How do I do that thing? So, like, talk to me about that. What is your experience with it's like cool, you can be surprised by a video that comes out. You're like, "Oh my god, this is like surprisingly good that a robot made this," but I'm trying to get something into production and I need it to be like this. Would you
Mhm.
agree there's still a huge gap?
Yeah, just communicating human to human, a creative concept is a whole art unto itself. And most, in a business application, we're talking about video, right? Like if you're a marketer and your company wants to have videos as part of your strategy, you might get an idea from an executive who wants to weigh in. There's a really slim chance that that executive will be able to really clearly and um, concisely and thoroughly convey their vision. And so that's where the creative director or the video producer kind of takes that creative liberty because they have to,
Mhm.
because the concept was never fully explained because it's very hard to do, right?
Yep. Yep, yep. So, okay, what I want to do is I want to share with you a project like this. So, what I was playing around. Some new models that came out, and this is relevant to pro mode because I've always been of the opinion that graphics and animation, visual stuff, in order to customize it in the way that we're talking about, like I've got a vision ahead of time, this thing has to look like this on the back end. I've sort
Uh-huh.
of been of the opinion that this has to be done with code. It's the only way you can have precision in it. You just, you'll never, if you're just prompting something to create an image of a graph or you know what I'm talking about? We're going to create the entire image of a Dex slide. It's going to be very difficult to get consistency, not only for that project, but for all of the future projects, like all of the future projects that come out of this deck maker, they need to look like the exact same with these specs and things like that. So, I was kind of wanting to create some animation for some training videos for Pro Mode. Now, I will say this, have we have a very boring looking app, and I'm okay with it. I like that it is like if you go into any of our specialty agents, they're not like it's not fun and flashy. It's like it's raw data, and that's okay because our target market is serious people, you know what I mean? Like to where this type of thing matters. So, I mean, the fact that we do have this kind of like boring, like text heavy UI it's a conscious decision. But at any rate, like when you show that in a video or an animation, it like you end up just being like, here's me doing a screencast of scrolling this page of context documentation. It's kind of boring as shit, right?
Mhm.
So I was wanting to find a way to take some of these text blocks and, just create some movement
Mhm.
way we can create, you know, movement here. So this is what I was after. I was like, okay, we can extract these modals from our app, animate them, and we'll give it a little bit more aesthetic than it has out of the box for a nice little sizzle reel type thing. So this is what
Mhm.
I'm after. Now, one thing I want to highlight is that as you look through this, like each of these animations that are happening, like that can all be distilled down to that's a little snippet of code that was put onto that little thing. So like at any rate, so I'm like very excited, like, okay, well, cool. This new like code animation model came out. I'd like to, get my hands dirty and see if I can animate our video. So let me see if I can pull up this project. And I'm only showing you this not to show how to do it, but I just want to highlight. Okay, so this is Claude Code for people that have not used Claude Code. And what I did is I gave Claude a Remotion is the name of the model that codes animations. And so inside of this, you have like all of this like super complex. I mean, if you looked at some of the rules in here, you look through these rules and they're all instructions for how to write code to do all of these different animation types. Now, one important thing to note is I don't know what any of this shit means. I don't know anything about animation whatsoever. And so I've got Claude working on it, and I gave Claude a bunch of let me see if I can find like here we go. So I gave Claude in here screenshots of our app in here, given to Claude, given all of these animation rules, went through this long process of planning out the project. So we mapped out each. Bottom line is, it is a high level shit. You know what I mean? Like it's very complex to get to this point. And
Yeah, you're not on a random Thursday be like, "I'm gonna animate my slide deck. That'd be fun."
totally, totally. Like this is like absolutely state of the art frontier model animation as code using Claude Code, like state of the art coding agent. Um, I did two versions of this. You ready to have a you ready to have a, a look at what we here's what we ended up at the end of all of this. Two versions. Let's just take a look at this dog shit. Ooh,
Lovely.
there's like maybe one or two good scenes. And like maybe that might be halfway good right there.
Mm,
But even still, you're right. It's a freaking stretch. It's like unusable. It is wholly unusable. Now, this, and I only do this to highlight, like, as in a weird way, as the frontier models become more sophisticated, there's the app layer is going to require some engineering to make the most sophisticated models accessible to the everyday user. So, the reason that the video we looked at sucks is because I can't recognize the name of different animation types by looking at their code. I don't
Mhm.
know. Like, I can say, okay, I want rounded corners, I want drop shadows, I want reveals, right? That's the extent of my animation domain expertise. And
Mm.
so for this sophisticated of an AI model to be used by your average marketer who wants to create some visual assets, they're not going to be able to access the most sophisticated models because there's not an app layer that translates animation domain expertise to marketing expertise.
Mm. Uh-huh.
And this to
Yeah.
me,
You need a conduit.
so this is where I want your opinion. Like, let's talk about this in terms of marketing and branding. We have seen a lot of people in the AI FOMO make an attempt to like maybe build their own app, build their own workflow, almost like as a way to, if I want to remain relevant in the
Mhm.
AI era, I must become an AI expert. I must build an AI tool. And I kind of have always felt that is misguided. And I think that right now the models are getting sophisticated enough to where I think people with domain expertise need to start getting out of the business of building apps because like it's just accelerated too much. It's something that spits out a thing is no longer useful. Like the
Yeah.
horsepower has exceeded that. And some of the opinion that like if you have domain expertise, you need to get out of the AI app building business and get into the like training, like an animation expert who knew what all of those animation things meant
Mhm.
needs to pre-make decisions for me. Like he probably wants this. He probably wants this here. It looks like his app is this thing. Let's just let's remove options for you. Let's create some presets for you in here. Yeah, give me your thoughts on that. What are the what are
Yeah.
the organizational
I
impacts of this?
I have not heard any marketers say that they are interested in building an app, like
Mm,
none,
mm,
for the purpose of doing their job. What's more common is two things. The marketers are using, obviously, we've talked about it a lot. They're using chatbots, they're using ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and trying to adopt AI with whatever they're allowed to touch, whatever their company is cool with them using. Some companies that's nothing, some it's Copilot, varies wildly company to company, but they're trying to juice some value out of the AI that they can access because their companies haven't provided them a real solution.
mhm,
Like ChatGPT is not a solution. It's a chatbot. You can sometimes get some value out of it, even in a professional setting. But we talk about it all the time. You're leaving a lot to chance and potentially damaging the brand, which is not good. So I'm not hearing the marketers saying they're building in-house tools. Not to say they're not. I just haven't talked to any that are. What I am hearing is company leadership, executive C-level telling their teams to build stuff.
mhm,
Like, let's just build it in-house. Like we had a demo, I don't know, a couple months ago, and this executive, it was a private equity owned company, and she was kind of the hired gun from the private equity company put in place into this newly acquired company that we were talking to. And she's like, well, why can't we just buy it? Like, we want to just buy our instance of Pro Mode. We don't want a subscription. And like, it's this feeling of we need to own the thing that we're using for AI because there's some mysterious value in owning that. Maybe they have the feeling that they would own the data more outright or something. I'm not sure, but like I'm hearing that like they want to own, not subscribe to solutions, and that could be partly because of their dissatisfaction with a lot of their legacy software providers. They're
Yeah.
like, is this our moment to get off of this software hostage situation that we've found ourselves in so many times? And we're like, yeah, well, actually, the hostage situation is over. Like, you do own the data. It's, in a portable database here. Yeah, but you don't want there isn't pride of ownership. There's responsibility of ownership, of constant updates and making sure you're aware of everything that's happening in frontier models. Like, you're asking for a world of hurt if you want to own this. So
I think that you just nailed it. That's it. It is the
I feel like I just rambled.
no. So here, I think in my mind, I was thinking more of like the fractional CMO types that would maybe like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm a fractional, I'm kind of a freelancer, I'm a consultant. I
Oh,
want to
I
get
see.
out of this. I want to get out of this consultant rat race. I'm going to build an app. And that's like cool. I mean, you're a single like you're single consultant working with a handful of clients at any given time. That's pretty innocuous. Like if your clients aren't demanding more, on the AI side, that like it is what it is. But I think you just highlighted the thing that is the companies that are building this tooling in-house. That really is it. That's where I see it as being misguided. I mean, I think it is okay to build like a chat bot in-house that every employee can interact with, ask about PTO days, things like that. But the people that are going to wire that up inside of a company, these folks aren't diving into every single model really, like in that
And I think,
example. Yeah,
yeah, I think companies are starting to realize that. I really do. Maybe because of the MIT study, last summer that came out, 95% of AI pilots fail, but that's 95% of internal DIY AI pilots. That's when your team builds an app, because what else is your team doing? Their job, which is not to build an app. And if you hire someone to do that, okay, you have one person doing that. Like, that's a big gamble that that one human is going to know how to build exactly the kind of solution that you want, right? Like, you're a genius with Pro Mode, which is doing content, but we just saw your video animation and it sucked.
totally.
Like, if a company hired even you to like come build all of our AI solutions, you would have a massive learning curve in those areas outside of your zone of genius with AI. You'd get there, but you're talking about months, if not years, of perfecting. It's a lack of understanding of what the technology is that leads to those kinds of decisions. And then we see
Absolutely.
67% of third party AI pilots succeeded.
Hmm.
Like, so which one are you going to do? Build in-house with a 95% failure rate, or subscribe to a third party tool, test it, make sure it's good. Don't just buy shit.
Hmm.
Can it if it's not good. Use a different one. Find the third party solutions that work for you, because you have a 67% chance of success.
Hmm. You nailed it. Uh Even yeah, to your point, there is I mean, I do one of the things I hate is that we call all of this AI is like
I know. Yeah.
one of my biggest pet peeves. Like to your point, I mean, if we're working like if we're working with LLMs and the task is like send all kinds of data, all different places, associate it in different ways, just use LLMs to do all of that stuff. Man, I could do that in my sleep. There's like, I have a hard time finding a problem that I would not be like, just give me 20 minutes of thinking about it. I could probably draw it on a whiteboard. But then this, like, I could go into a company and be like, here's the most powerful animation model that exists. I have routed it into your company. Every single one of your employees has it on their desktop. it would be total garbage. And I would just route it.
Yeah.
I would like, here you go, here it is. Have fun using it. And it would be shit. It would be like total garbage because there's no additional engineering that occurred. I just
Right.
like, here's the, like here's the hose, turn it on, have fun.
Mhm.
You need some attachments. Like, does that hose need to be a sprinkler or like one of those power wash
Right.
things?
They're like a hose, I wanted an ice sculpture. Well, we're a few steps away from an ice sculpture, you know?
And that's where I think, like, in this stage of where everybody calls it all AI, there's no, there's no nuance of understanding in there. It's sort of like, it's like the term IT. It's like, I don't know,
Mhm.
stuff with computers happens there. And then you've got
Right.
people that are like data security, you got people managing your servers, you've got people, and those people don't know shit about what the other person does. Like the level of specialization
No.
inside of IT is crazy vast.
Mhm.
And in the general public, it just kind of is all lumped into the same thing. I think we're in that stage now where
For
it's
sure.
all called AI. Nobody would really understand how to tell good from bad
Mhm.
on its surface just because we don't have the shorthand for it yet.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, it's happened before. We had the dot-com boom. What was the dot-com boom? Well, it wasn't just a bunch of people building websites. It was building the entire digital infrastructure from servers and, connectivity and like every component, like code, languages, and with a vast amount of specialty, a specialty spectrum within that dot-com boom. Yeah.
Yeah. It's do you ever get the inclination that in the same in a similar way we're gonna see the AI boom and bust? And
Mm.
at the end of it, we'll say years afterwards, years after the bust, it'll be like, that was ridiculous how we were behaving then. But it did build out the entire infrastructure. Like the entire
Right.
infrastructure was built to route this technology somewhere. And now we're going to start layering in how do we integrate this? But I
Mhm.
think it's going to be an odd it's gonna be an odd, ugly bust.
Well, I think the big difference, and I haven't researched this deeply, but it feels like it's probably true, is with the dot-com boom, the capital was much more evenly distributed. Like there were a lot more winners in the game. And today, in the AI boom, that capital seems to be highly concentrated at the very, very top.
Yeah, this is a great I had this idea. So, okay, so I'd kinda gotten into a little spat with some of the boys at jujitsu recently. There was,
Well, isn't that the whole point?
yeah, it's more typically, we try to keep the emotional spats out of it, but, A you know, AI came up, and there was, like, kinda somebody in the room that's like, "The agents are becoming sentient," and I'm like, "Oh my god." And then you've got somebody else in there, "They can't do shit." And everybody's like it's
Mhm.
like colored. It is all colored with their own experience of it, but very little grounding in what's actually going on in the space. And but the discussion came of like what emerges out of this? Is this just going to be like all robots doing jobs and things like that? And I'm like, what will jobs be? And I'm like, I don't know, but there'll be so many crazy things that are possible that make total sense. And so I like had this business idea that I want somebody to please do it to prove it to be true. I think I've told you this before, but this would be like hyper local DoorDash. So this would be, I mean, legitimately in the age that we're at today, somebody in Kansas City could say, you know what, I'm going to create KC DoorDash. I'm going to raise $5 million locally. Pretty easy to do that. And you don't need developers to do it now. You could have 2, 3 people plus Claude Code build out that entire infrastructure. So then all of your capital can be dedicated to solving all of the inherent problems of Uber Eats and DoorDash, which is poor driver pay, like some unreliability. Drivers have to use their own cars. They have to, and because you have this insane centralized infrastructure in San Francisco where we've got to, all of these people have to get paid all the way up. In
Mhm.
some other city, you have a bunch of dumbass VCs that all need to make money off of that actual delivery. This opens up the door for like technology entrepreneurship on the local level. So
Mhm.
imagine this scenario. You start this hyper local Uber Eats. You raise enough money to have your own fleet of vehicles. So now all of a sudden people don't need to use their cars. You start employing people 8 hours a day. They're W-2 employees, no longer 1099. They're earning like a respectable living wage. And you have the support of the entire local restaurant economy. Like you
Mm.
could, I mean, these restaurants are churning out deliveries like crazy. Nobody is super excited. Nobody in that entire exchange is doing that out of opportunity. They're doing it out of necessity, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the type of thing that AI can fully disrupt and say, listen, why are our local restaurants, our local citizens, our roads, our all of this, like this whole exchange is demeaning to everybody not in Silicon Valley.
Mhm.
It don't take that
Mhm.
much money. We could rip you off tomorrow and sweet restaurants, you get 10% more than Uber's giving you. We might even ask
Right.
for an exclusivity deal. What kind of volume are you doing? Like we'll float the volume difference there. And then guess
Mm.
what? Like, okay, our launch campaign, we find 1,000 local influential people, give them free orders, ask the restaurant to throw something in the mix. You get drivers in there, you pay them well, use a lot of your seed money just to like get this thing out there. What person, when they're looking to order delivery, if they don't want to order from some chain, they care about the local economy, the cost is maybe 5% more to them, if the same. And you just take
Mhm.
care of everybody in that entire supply chain. Like, how would you not totally take all of DoorDash's market share in a local market with that? It'd be the most fucking buy billboards all over the city. Be like,
Mhm.
hey, good luck coming here and doing this, DoorDash. Like, we're going to do this right and with dignity. Like,
Yeah.
this is the type of thing that's possible. And
Mhm.
I think we'll see it happening.
I think that's yeah, I mean, that's kind of where the democratization becomes real, because we've been talking about it. I've heard Sam Altman talk about it with OpenAI. Like, the reason it's open is this effort to democratize AI, meaning level playing field. Like, here's the technology, go make something cool. That's a first, and that's why those big tech companies are kind of scrambling right now because I think they know that that's possible. I think the other thing that's very very possible, every company can have their own custom CRM. You don't have to pay 100 grand for it. Uh, you don't have to pay a subscription for it. Maybe some usage fees, something like that. But if you're a sales consultant, you can have a AI developer in your back pocket. And as a salesperson, one of your offers can be, we build a custom CRM for you. And
Hmm.
then like we're loading it and like it gives the consultant, the company, the developer, like those are just regular people, making a reasonable living. They're not, billionaires with stock interests and all of that. It's like no, we can, like, we could build a custom CRM for every one of our clients,
Yeah. This
you
is
know, and like the lift is just not what it was. And I think that's very exciting.
I think the amount of like $10 million, maybe not acquisitions, but I think that what we're gonna see is like this weird band of people during this time who normally would never touch this level of wealth possibility will all of a sudden be able to just create like $10 million in value, which is a totally, I mean, technology has never been like this before. It's you're either a $1 billion unicorn or you're zero. And
Mhm.
the amount of space where just anybody with a network and an idea could pretty rapidly generate $10 million in value. So I think you're going to see so many people experience, like so many people who historically have been on the outside of this thing will create like generational wealth for them comparatively, like going from, you know, like you die and your kids get a couple hundred grand a piece, or you die and your kids are getting a few million a piece. Like this is massive. It's a
Mhm.
massive shift, and this type of thing has never been more accessible to more people than today.
Yeah.
So I'm sensing that there's gonna be huge redistribution of wealth in the
Mhm.
private sector, which is strange. Usually, like, redistribution is gonna happen via taxation, but I think in disruptive times like this, we end up with the private sector is the one distributing the wealth.
Mhm. Mhm. Do you think
Commie at heart, I
Amazon
think.
gosh, do you think Amazon's model could also be, I mean, there's the whole thing of distribution. I mean, you could mimic the buying experience, but then the distribution is
Distributing physical
interesting.
goods. Yeah, yeah. Again, I think that would have to be a thing. It would have to be geographically relevant. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
if somebody wanted to, because that's the biggest issue is like Amazon is facilitating getting shit on a ship from China in a warehouse, managing that stock. Like that's where it's the logistics that would make ripping Amazon off impossible. But
Mm.
again, I mean, how many people feel weird about how many like toilet wand replacement pads? Like, okay, what all went into getting those here right now? And like,
Yeah.
why is that the only thing there? And
Yeah.
so I,
I
I
ordered
can
those 3 hours ago and they're already here.
totally.
Did they know I was gonna order that?
So I think there becomes, again, I think these opportunities emerge at the local level. So, like, yeah, if somebody, I mean, how dope would it be? You've got like Amazon local. This is
Mhm.
all of the like local vendors of non-perishable items. Like you've got your like Kansas City Amazon, where if you want, you know, like if I wanted to buy my drum heads from Big Dude's Music and I didn't want to drive there, but I would like the idea that I'm buying them from those guys for the same price, I'd much rather prefer that. And if I wanted the convenience of having it delivered for 5 extra bucks, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no brainer."
Have you heard of an app called Whatnot?
Mm-mm.
I recently downloaded it because I kept seeing it and hearing about it. It's, um, it's a shopping app, but I'm curious if it is AI native, I don't know. But it's wild. Like, you choose your interests. Now, do you like fashion? Do you have hobbies? Do you like fitness? What interests you? And then there's thousands of tiles with videos of people, and there are live auctions, like people like, "Hey, I got some AirPods today," like, and you can, bid on things and save a lot of money, or, I think they have some things that are not auction that are just like live stream selling. I don't know. It's crazy, but people are losing their minds over it.
This is cool.
Hmm.
And so who are the ones making these videos?
Like it's
Are they the retail?
influencers. No, it's influencers. It's like the same people who make TikTok, stuff. They throw their video in here and it's more searchable and they lean on like discounts, like they promote a lot of discounts at least for now. I don't know if that's their forever strategy, but
Great idea. I mean, to make the discovery and buying process at the same place. I mean, I know that a lot of stuff is sold on TikTok, but I oftentimes think about what is not sold on TikTok because there's like 5 clicks to, you know what I mean? You're 5 clicks away from that being done. Uh,
it's like they're turning shopping into entertainment,
mhm.
which feels like maybe the last benchmark of a falling society. I don't know, but was that the last step before Rome fell?
Oh my goodness, yeah. All right, you wanna end on some rage bait?
Yes.
I have a
Yes, I
special
do.
folder. I've got a special folder on my desktop for rage bait. One of my favorite things one of my favorite things to rage over is to look at LinkedIn posts that are all railing on AI generated content, but they all have the same opinion. It's like
Right.
I find it is just so meta, and I'll just scroll. So
It
we've
is.
got like, there are so many posts on LinkedIn that have clear AI written slop tells. You don't need this, you need this instead. Okay, cool. Shame on you if you're using AI to write content on this platform, for heaven's sake. I rarely post on here, but when I do, it's actually me. You could always tell because I type fewer than 45 sentences. I was just looking at my feed, realizing how much AI generated content is out there now. And I sort of miss the real voices of the people I know and am connected with. I love you all, and I love you for finding new, insightful ways to use AI. But for the love of everything that's human, stop using AI to compose your posts. It shows there's a cadence and rhythm, not just to the words.
That's
Great. I
hilarious.
want more of this human originality.
Yeah. We need a
Yeah,
hot
because this is
take.
original.
Matt, when I tell you I see that same post no less than 30 times a day, it is always the first post in my feed, and I don't engage with them. I don't try to talk to these people because I imagine all their other ideas are from some echo chamber as well. They all sound the same and they all like encourage one another in that. So they all always have very high engagement, like 100 likes, 50 comments on that.
Think I think there's a group of people that have for whom algorithms were the key to their success. Like, I found an algorithm, I locked in to how to build a following on that, and then I just sold shit on that following. So basically, for the last 10 years, this is how people became anybody on anything, was find the
Mhm.
algorithm, learn it, lock into it, and go. These are the people I think that are going to be kicking and screaming into generative AI, but it's weird because they don't quite understand how locked in they are to a hive mind. And
Right.
they don't quite grasp that, like, you're not bringing anything original to this mix. You're not bringing a single original concept here. And you don't like that other people can just replicate the thing that made you special was not that your fingers were doing the work. The thing that made you special is that you found a group of people and you could lock into their algorithmic hive mind and get a following and make money off of it.
Right.
It's no
Well,
longer a
it's
strategic advantage.
like, let's be honest, it's a lot easier to build a tribe based on shared hate than it is to build a tribe based on shared, positive. I think it's that simple. It's like if we all hate the same thing, we can talk about that all day and I'll stroke your ego in LinkedIn or something. But then you see people talking about AI in a positive way, like here's a useful case for AI, and it's crickets.
Yes. And to be fair, like, just to so that we can be even-handed on this thing, like, I also cannot stand all of you that are like, "I made $75,000 yesterday with this agent protocol," and if you comment "agent" in the comments, like, there's those people on the other end of it.
Yeah.
You're just as bad. You are just as annoying. That is ridiculous.
I agree 100%. I mean, I think we can all agree that bad content that isn't thought provoking and fresh, that doesn't make you think a little, feels like a waste of time after you've read it. Can we all agree? Like, whether it was created by AI or a human who's, not really tapped into anything unique or doesn't have a fresh perspective. I don't want to read their stuff either. And I do all the time, like, constantly, and I could really go off on that because, like, back in my agency days, before AI, before anybody was using AI to generate any line of copy, it was a common problem that we would send something, or I'll take myself out of it. I was not a content creator in the agency, but I'll just use any agency. Like, you send out content, maybe it's blogs or a website that you've just redesigned, and the client comes back to you and says, "This isn't accurate. This doesn't even sound like us. Where did you even get this? This is very boring." That happens all the time in marketing agencies with clients paying $170 an hour for that work to be done the first time incorrectly and then to be revised and revised again and revised
Mhm.
again.
Mhm.
And you're
Mhm.
telling me that using AI to generate content is just wholly bad and wrong and slop. But everything that comes out of a human is unique and original and valuable. BS. Go try being an award winning author. Like, really, not just your friends bought it and you peaked on Amazon one day. Like, go try making a living as an author. I, c- I
Yep.
I'm not there. That's
Yep.
that's not me. I think you could
Totally.
do it. You're a very good writer with very good skills in that.
I do not have the discipline to do it. I do not have the ability to turn that into a practice. You know what I mean? And that's yeah. But and
Yeah.
God forbid you brought up the agency side. You client receives a deliverable, go back, edit back. God forbid you have the ability to create three variations that are all orthogonally distinct from one another within the range of a voice and say, hey, pick one you like the most.
Mm-hmm.
And if clearly a better way to do, and then based off of the thing that you picked, guess what? The next time we send you these three versions of these things, these three versions will be reflective of the thing you picked last time. And we will slowly, slowly, slowly hone in onto this thing until we have algebra that predicts what you will say yes to. How is that not
Yeah.
better?
What we've talked about this before. I think it's been a minute. But, we've talked about how humans are so programmed without our knowledge, how we think that we are unique in every second, in every communication, every conversation that we have. We think that we are showing up with fresh perspective, with unique insights. We're in the moment. But if you played the tape back on your life and looked at those patterns, I think we would be shocked at just how robotic and programmed we are. I think we've used the example of when you see somebody that maybe it's a networking event. Hey, how are you? Good. How are you? How's business? Oh, good. How's the family? Like, it's a script. It's a rote process that is programmed. And because it's programmed, it doesn't feel like you're giving a line. It feels like I'm in the moment and I'm engaging with this person in an authentic way. But it's the exact same way that you engaged with every other person you've met in the last 15 years because that's your programming.
Yeah. Yes.
So, like, this whole AI slop conversation should really, I think, encourage people to take a really strong look inward at their own patterns, their own behaviors, their own writing styles, communication styles, and to really be objective. Like, take a scientific look at it. How much of me is unique moment to moment? Like, yeah, I've my DNA, you don't have my DNA. Like, we're separate, unique beings, but how much of our language is communicating unique thought? And the reason we know that we don't, like the biggest tell that shows us that we don't, is the few people that we consider to be genius thought leaders.
You
Like,
hit on a critical point, Heather.
mm,
Thought and language are two different phenomenon. These are not the same thing, and this is where I think people get hung up. We are talking about, like, if engineered properly, there are tools that beautifully translate thought to language, but they're two different things, and I think this is where people need to be really, to your point, be introspective. What are you hanging your hat on? Is it your thoughts or is it your word assembly?
right. That's a that's a very good point.
I think we should that's probably I don't think we could any better than you came in
Yeah.
hot at the end there. Hell yeah.
Well, I think of guys like Rory Sutherland, who's a thought leader in marketing, advertising, human behavior. You could just listen to him endlessly. I could. Just brilliant thought idea communicated well after brilliant idea communicated well over and over. And you just want to like put it in a bottle and like drink it and get some of that going on. Like, not everybody has the same ability to translate great thoughts into great words, just like not everybody has the ability to have great thoughts, like truly unique thoughts. And that's okay. But like, let's be honest.
Nice
Yeah.
work. You got me fired up.
It's fun. Well, this has been the Tenfold AI podcast with Matt and Heather, sponsored by Promode.ai. If you're not in Micronesia or Abu Ghraib, give us a comment because we're trying to grow our audience outside of those markets. And if you're interested in chatting about AI or taking a look at Promode for your marketing, content execution, give us a call. See ya.
I
LLM architecture for professional communicators.